Um, hey everybody, how you doing? Tekking here. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to start the video, sir? I mean, I know we discussed this earlier that I could start it. I just want to make double sure that I'm allowed to. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Well, anyway, every time I do a video on the Marines, I have this bit of a running gag going on, where me and Barry are both in the Marines and we have like official ranks and stuff. And my rank is traditionally very low. Go Seaman First Class. Meanwhile, his rank is much higher, like Captain, Commodore, Rear Admiral, Vice Admiral, but things are a little less humorous this time because Barry has been promoted to the Admiral class. That's right, straight up Admiral. And in case you're curious, yes, he now has a Logia, the power of the clay fruit. So I think before we start this video, I think everybody should just give a salute to our commanding officer. Yes, sir. I know my saluting skills suck. I'm trying, okay? Is it this way? Is it this way? Is it supposed to be at a 45-degree angle? I don't know. I'm sorry, man. Okay, I'm trying. Okay. All right, good. All right, so yeah, that's how we're doing it today. All right, so today's video is going to be on all of the Devil Fruit users in the Marines, a task that I originally thought was going to be monumentous. I thought there was going to be a bunch of Devil Fruit users in the Marines, and there's honestly really not as many as you might think. I went down and looked at every single Marine in the story. That was like kind of the first step of this. I excluded all of the filler Marines because there's a lot of them throughout all the different OVAs and the movies and the filler arcs and everything like that. So I excluded all of the filler Marines, and I was just looking at the Marines in the canon of the manga. This also included deceased Marines like Saul and Roshinate. Saul was a vice admiral, Roshinate was a commander, Aokiji, who defected, and also X-Drake, who's technically a member of the Marines, but he's a member of Sword. So I kind of included everybody in that set that was canon, and it only came out to around 60 members of the Marines, okay? And out of those 60 members, only 16 of them have Devil Fruit powers, right? 16. And once again, to get that number, you have to include Roshinate, who's dead, and Aokiji, who left, or Kuzan, that left. And even Drake is kind of like, because his official rank was Rear Admiral, but I don't think he has that official rank anymore. I think he's just the captain of Sword, but we're not really sure about what Sword is. Is it like an official organization in the Marines? Or is it just a group that like Sengoku got together, like, all right, men, you're gonna be members of Sword. Now, officially, we do not exist on the books. This is not a subset of the Marines that the higher-ups know about. This is just a little group of the best that I got together, and we're going to do our own ways to take down the Yonko. That might very well be what Sword is, right? So, yeah. But including everybody, that's only 16. 13 if you exclude them, right? So, yeah, we're going to go through this today, all the members of the Marines that have them. Here is a brief refresher. This is a reference table that has all the ranks of the Marines. The lowest official rank being the Seaman Recruit, and below that you do have the Chore Boy rank, which is essentially just a janitor. You're a janitor that's allowed to wear a Marine shirt, basically. Kobe and Helmeppo were the only ones that had that rank, but also keep in mind, Garp is the one that showed up and kind of took interest in them and accepted them into his own little private training regiment. Yeah, kids, you're gonna be trained by Garp the Fist. And when you get an opportunity like that, you don't pass it up. You know what I mean? Exactly. So I think if you're like a regular chore boy, I mean, maybe if you got a lot of pluck and moxie with that mop, maybe you might get accepted as a Seaman Recruit. But Kobe and Helmeppo's story is a little bit unique. So that's the lowest rank, and then it goes all the way up through the infantry. Keep in mind, the Warrant Officer rank, the highest rank in the infantry class, has yet to have any known members in the One Piece world. Maybe somebody in the light novels or something had that rank, but no Warrant Officers as far as we know in the entire story. And then you get into the Officer class with Ensign being the lowest, all the way up through the Admiral class, and then the Fleet Admiral, the one Fleet Admiral that rules over all of the Marines. Okay, so that's what we have going on here. And out of every single rank we see here, there is not a single Devil Fruit user lower than Captain class. It seems like you have to be at least a captain to be worthy of having a Devil Fruit. When we first got introduced to Smoker at Logtown, he was in fact a Logia user that had a captain class, and he's been promoted since then to Commodore and now Vice Admiral. Most of the Devil Fruit users we see are actually in the Admiral class, not Vice Admiral or Rear Admiral, the Admiral class. Out of those 16 members that I mentioned, 6 of them were all either Admirals or a Fleet Admiral, okay? So you got, Sengoku, and now Sakazuki, who's the fleet admiral, Aokiji, who defected, Kizaru, and then you also have Fujitora and Green Bull. And we don't know what Green Bull's ability is, but we can, actually, technically speaking, we don't even know 100% if Green Bull has a Devil Fruit. Wouldn't that be a weird way that Oda could spin it? It's like, oh yes, we're introduced to Admiral Green Bull. He doesn't have a Devil Fruit, though. What? How could you have it? How could you be an admiral and not have a Devil Fruit? Oh. He doesn't need one. He doesn't need one. Green Bull walks out, cracking his knuckles, and just boosh! Armament hockey just knocks you over a mile away. His armament hockey is so strong, it's confused with Conqueror's hockey. It's like just so powerful, right? That would actually be a cool flip if Oda could do it right. So yeah, let's start with Smoker, just because I've already talked about him. And by the way, I have a playlist up here of all the videos I've made on various Marine admirals and like Marine-based videos, if you just want to go check that out there. But anyway, yeah, Smoker is something interesting about him I just kind of realized while making this list. Smoker is the only Logia in the Marines other than the admirals. Yeah. I mean, you start to think about it, it's obvious, but then you realize, like, yeah, Kizaru, Aokiji, and Akainu, they were all Logias. Akainu, Sakazuki, he's a fleet admiral, he's still a Logia. Fujitora doesn't have a Logia, but all the Logias seem to be reserved for the way, way higher class, like the best of the Marines. Now also keep in mind, like, the admirals, like, for example, Aokiji, he had his chili fruit when he was still a vice admiral, okay? So that's not unusual that can happen, but keep in mind, as it stands right now, you just have the admirals that have Logias, then Smoker. Nobody else, which I think is kind of leading to believe that eventually Smoker will become an admiral at the end of this story. I'm not talking about, like, well, maybe in the context of the story, that'd be pretty cool if he got promoted to admiral. I think he's kind of too young for that. Okay, all the admirals, I think, were in their 50s, and Smoker's only like 35, 36 years old. But it'd be cool if we had, like, an epilogue to One Piece and we cut to, like, 10, 20 years later in the future, where Smoker is either, well, I could see Smoker being the fleet admiral eventually, and Kobe being an admiral, and then even further into the future when Smoker retires, Kobe then picks it up and becomes the official fleet admiral. I could see that happening way, way off into the future, but yeah, I wanted to bring that up because it was rather interesting. Also the fact that even way back in Logtown, he was a captain that had a Logia. Even the other captains in the story, they all have Paramecia or Zone Fruits. Alright, they don't have freaking Logia abilities, so that makes me start to think like, okay, let's say you're a member of the Marines, okay, and you find a Devil Fruit. What's exactly the chain of command up there? Because I'm assuming that if you're like me, a seaman first class, or if you're any lower infantry rank, if you're just a brand new person to the Marines and you're just ordered to like peel potatoes on the deck, and then the ship lands on a random island, it's like, all right, men, we're gonna get disembarked from the battleship, and we're gonna go and we're gonna scavenge the island for supplies, look for fresh water and plants and that are edible, and let's do that, and we'll get back on the ship. I'm like, all right, Captain, sir, and then you disembark the ship, and then you're just a seaman recruiter, a seaman apprentice or whatever, and you're just going through the island, and you're just picking up stuff, and oh, Captain, I found a Devil Fruit. Like, there's probably, like, I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could just eat it right there, but that probably wouldn't fly very well in the Marines. It's like, oh, you broke a rule there. Like, you're not allowed, you just joined. You can't just eat a Devil Fruit. What if it's a really powerful Devil Fruit? Like, if it's, like, a relatively weak fruit, like, oh man, you got the jacket fruit. Oh yeah, don't do that. If you find a Devil Fruit, men, if you find a Devil Fruit, which means if you find any fruit that has a swirl pattern on it, it could be a hedge apple, but it could also probably be a Devil Fruit, bring it to your commanding officer, for the love of Eneru. We keep having to say this, alright? If it's a weak fruit, you probably don't care, but what if random freaking seaman apprentice gets his hands on a damn Logia or a mythical zone? Because you don't know what it's gonna be, right? Oh, he could freaking turn into fire now. Alright, well, what exactly do you do in that particular situation? Do you immediately promote him just because of his power, or do you discharge him? I guess discharging him would be stupid, because then you would have an enemy of the Marines that now has a freaking, Devil Fruit power, like a really powerful one. So I guess you would probably reprimand them in some way, but at the same time it'd be like, all right, well, you're in the Marines for life now. If you didn't want to be, if you were just going to do a tour or two, well, too bad now, kid, because you screwed up. You're going to be here forever. Or I guess the other way to do it would be to, reincarnate the fruit in some way, but that's getting kind of dark. All right, yeah, okay. So I'm assuming that whenever they're trained in the Marines, whenever they find a devil fruit and they're like, this is what a devil fruit looks like, you report to your commanding officer, and then they'll figure out what to do with it, okay? Even if it's an officer like an ensign or a lieutenant, we don't see any devil fruit users that are of that rank, that are that low, even in the officer rank. So if you're an ensign like Isuka in the Ace novel, and she finds a devil fruit, she might not even be able to eat it right away. It might be something higher up. Like she has to, like it has to have at least the rank of you have to have at least the rank of a captain in order to consume a devil fruit, because that's the lowest we've seen. Okay, like you give it over to maybe an admiral or vice admiral or whoever's in charge of you, and they're the ones that determine like, okay, there's this up and coming Marine captain that's really powerful, and would you be interested in this devil fruit? And if the captain says yes, I'm assuming you can also decline if you want, because another reason I was thinking maybe there's so few devil fruit users in the Marines is they're going after pirates. They're spending a lot of time on the water. They're probably going to do a lot of naval combat. Pirates getting devil fruits, I mean, because they're outlaws, so that may be like, yeah, we could do whatever we want with them, right? But the Marines are kind of a force for justice. You know, ostensibly, they're a force for justice. They're incredibly corrupted in the One Piece world, but there's some really good Marines. Maybe some of them just, even if they're getting offered it, like, oh, our crew found this devil fruit in the wilds of this random island in the Grand Line. Captain Strumblybum, do you want it? I'm like, no, thank you very much. I'm going to, keep it with my hockey and my Rokushiki for right now. I'd rather prefer the ability to swim. Because you think about that, like a lot of the Marines, like, okay, we get a superpower, but we can't swim anymore. Probably a lot of the training in the Marines is training how to survive in the water if you get flung overboard or something. And if it's a devil fruit, it's an automatic death sentence, essentially, unless your crew could save you, right? So I'm imagining a lot of the Marines, especially if seasoned Marines that have been in multiple battles at sea, with pirates and other like revolutionaries, probably know that like the chances of you getting knocked overboard while you're on a ship, it's pretty likely if you're getting into a naval combat. Like, all it takes is one cannonball. One cannonball hits the side of your ship when you're standing too close to the edge, and boom, you just get flung off the damn thing, right? Even if you survive the initial explosion, you're going to be in the water. A lot of Marines have probably dealt with that, and they're just like, I'd rather keep the ability to swim, thank you very much. Oh, but this devil fruit allows you to turn your body into weapons. I don't care. That sounds sick, by the way, but I don't care. I'm not going with that, right? So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of them probably turn it down, but, yeah, let's go into the captain class here of what we got. All right, so the three captains right now that have devil fruits are Captain Very Good, Captain Shu, and Captain Sharinguru. All right, so Very Good has the power of the Berry Berry no Mi, or the Berry Berry fruit. It is not a power that allows you to control the money of the One Piece world, nor is it a power that allows you to control all the berries of the world. Like, I have the power to create raspberries whenever I desire. Pop, 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 pop. Good raspberries. Yes, yes, yes. And now blueberries. Pop, pop, pop. Oh my god, yes. If you're a berry fanatic, that would be an awesome fruit. But no, Very Good has an ability that's very similar to Buggy's Bara Bara no Mi, except Buggy can separate his body into like segments, so he can literally separate his hand into just like his hand, it's just separated. But the Berry Berry fruit allows you to turn your body into spheres, balls, the ball fruit, essentially. Oda, why didn't you just call it the ball fruit? That seems right up your alley of, like, kind of jokes that you would make, I mean, I've made a freaking semen joke like 15 times in this video already. You could have called it the ball fruit. Alright, I don't think anybody would have cared. But anyway, yeah, it seems to be a little bit different from Buggy's in the way it's activated, because it seems like whenever the user of the fruit, and I guess it could be the will of the user, but whenever the user gets hit by any sort of, like, blunt attack, like, Frankie went to go punch Very Good right in the stomach, immediately his entire body just, boom, explodes into balls. That might be an automatic action, so any kind of blunt damage, like cannonballs, or, if someone takes out a kanabo or something and just with the blunt edge and just bam, hits you really hard, your body just explodes into orbs. And you get to control each individual orb, okay? So your head is an orb, and even your body parts that weren't, like for example, your hand, when separated, will turn into an orb. Okay, your whole body will become round, like perfectly like a sphere. and then you could spin it around, and you could basically use your body parts as like miniature cannonballs. I guess you can control the inertia and the speed and the angle and the momentum and everything, so you could just have these balls swirling around your opponent, just boom, 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 like slamming into them at high speeds. That fruit could actually be pretty damn useful if you think about it. You can't exactly grab things because your body parts are all turned into spheres, so it's not like buggies in that regard. I don't know if it has the same rule that you have to keep your feet on the ground like Buggy does, because I don't think we only got to see Very Good's ability like twice. Once during Ennie's lobby during the Buster Call where he was summoned, and another that was during the CP9 Independent Report where Very Good was ordered to bring back the Cypher Pole, which I don't know why he thought he could do that. You know, like seriously, holy crap. The CP9 goes back to their original island where they trained, like their homeland, the closest thing to a homeland that they had. They were all orphans, basically, and freaking, Very Good's hanging out at his base or on his ship, and he gets the freaking fax from headquarters like, all right, man, what are we going to be doing today? Let's see here. Go to the CP9 homeland base and bring back all the members. They have defected after the Ennie's Lobby incident. All right, man, we're going to do this. I don't know why Very Good thought he could do that, but hey, he at least followed orders. He went through with it. He has balls. Strong, plentiful balls. Yeah, alright, so that's very good. But we don't know if it's like it has to be on the ground, the feet. Or if he can like literally just like have his balls levitate in the air, swirl around the opponent, get them disoriented, make a giant vacuum tornado of nothing but balls. Pretty intimidating fruit, if I do say so myself, if I had to go up against the guy that turned into balls, right? Okay, well, I think this joke has kind of ran its course. Captain Shu with the Rust fruit. Well, I already made a whole video about him, so you can go check that out in the description below. I feel like I don't want to, like, just, rehash everything, but, as the name implies, I think you can pretty much get to the point where it's like, that is one of the most devastating fruits in the world when you're going up against a swordsman, or anybody that uses any sort of metal, even guns and, like, flintlock revolvers and stuff, they still have, metal as a component like iron, and so with Shu's ability, he can grab anything and then rust it away. I'm assuming an awakening of this fruit would allow him to make Rust World, where he could just, like, touch the ground and everything gets rusted. In the anime, their joints also kind of got rusted. He could do that, but it requires physical contact, and so obviously things that aren't made of metal can still hurt him. So, if I took out these rivets, probably wouldn't be useful against him, but just the wooden kanabo itself would be enough to injure him. Usopp shot a fire star at him and, lit him on fire, and that defeated him pretty quickly. But we haven't seen much of Shu. That's interesting considering his fruit. So when I did the Blackbeard, like, Devil Fruit hit list video, like the fruits that I could see Blackbeard going after the most, I put Shu's Rust fruit on there because I could see him definitely doing that. A fruit that basically allows you to go up against, or at least have a pretty good chance of going up against any swordsman. That's a pretty damn powerful fruit, right? But I already made a whole video about Shu. So, moving on to Sharinguru. This is an interesting character. I was kind of waiting for a point to talk about him. I think I've mentioned him before a few times. I think most people kind of know about Sharinguru's little weird situation he has. If you don't, allow me to explain. Sharinguru arrived with all the other captains during Ennie's lobby. You see him in the anime. He's right here, okay? And he clashes with Frankie very briefly. However, his Devil Fruit is not shown in the anime, only in the manga. And to this day, outside of the chapters that obviously haven't become, anime episodes yet, outside of, like, the most recent chapters of One Piece, Sharinguru is the only manga character whose Devil Fruit is manga only. Not anime only, which is what happens a lot with, like, filler characters or OVA characters. They have anime-only fruits. Sharinguru has a manga-only, or manga-exclusive Devil Fruit. That's very, very weird. The wheel fruit that allows to turn his body into, like, wheels. So he takes out his arms, and his arms turn into wheels, like car wheels, and they turn, like, a lot of RPMs on those damn things, and just, boom, slam them right into the opponent. You think about that. Imagine that for a second. You freaking imagine how fast the wheels can turn on your damn car and then slam that into somebody. That's a pretty damn useful power. Also, I'm imagining he could turn his legs into wheels, kind of like Beiji's tank treads with his castle fruit, and he can, like, move around the battlefield. Or he could turn his legs and his arms into wheels and just kind of like Buggy's buggy car kind of thing. Just like, Sharinguru! Ultimate RV! And he just, like, rides around the battlefield or something like that. That'd actually be very useful. Imagine if, like, your opponent knocks you down, like, you're falling down on the battlefield and they're about to attack you. Have a wheel appear on your back, like, right here where your spine is, and you hit the ground and just vroom, 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 and just, like, the strategic retreat. You can make little mini wheels. You can have roller skates wherever you want. That's actually a pretty cool power, and it's weird that they they excluded it from the anime for whatever reason. I mean, maybe they were pressed for time, but that's so unusual with the One Piece anime, because usually with the One Piece anime, because the situation, especially in the situation we have right now, whereas, you know, every episode of the anime is essentially one chapter of the manga, sometimes even less than that, because they have to stretch some stuff out here, but you'd think they take whatever they can get from the manga and they draw it out longer in the anime, right? So you'd think in that sense they'd be like, oh, this guy has the power of the wheel fruit. All right, have like, you know, a good 8 minutes of the episode devoted to nothing but this dude fighting against freaking Frankie. You know what I think they might have done? I think I know what they did. Shu gets a lot less screen time in the manga than in the anime. I think basically in the manga, all that Shu does is he literally just runs up to Zoro, grabs his Yubashiri, and rusts it. And then I think Usopp attacks him and he gets knocked out immediately. In the anime, they add a lot more stuff with Shu, like Shu like rusting Zoro's joints, and Zoro I think picked up some other random cutlasses and tried to fight him with that. They added a lot more stuff there. So maybe the stuff they added with Shu is like, alright, well, sorry, this Sharin Guru dude, he's there, you see him, but he doesn't show off his devil fruit powers, okay? So, the situation with that. Also, I'm not probably the only one that thought this, but Sharinguru sounds a lot like Sharingan! He's an Uchiha! And that's, by the way, not as big of a stretch as you might think, because Sharin in Japanese just means wheel, and the literal name of Sharingan in Naruto is the copy wheel eye, or the mirror wheel eye. So, it could be a thing! That could be a thing! But no, he has the wheel fruit, and I like that idea. Imagine, like, someone comes up to you with a Kanombo and tries to attack. All my examples will be with Kanombos, by the way. Kanabos, by the way. Imagine someone comes up to you with that, and you raise up your arm, and you just make a wheel appear right here on your arm, and just, you know, get those RPMs up there, and it would block the attack, and probably just knock it right off, because I'm not a physicist or anything, right? But if you got a wheel that's spinning, like, wicked fast, if you try to touch that thing, you're probably just going to get knocked back, right? If it's a smooth enough surface, right? You probably just get knocked back if you try to hit it hard enough, right? Isn't that what happens? So, yeah, wheel fruit, pretty powerful. So, yeah, those are all the captains. Commodore is the next rank up, but, well, Smoker was a Commodore at one point, but he got promoted. There's no Commodores that have devil fruit powers. Roshinate was a commander. So, oh, crap. Okay, I messed up. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, Commander is the lowest rank. I'm sorry, because, yeah, I confuse Commodores and Commanders a lot. Sometimes I think Commanders are higher in rank than Captains. They are not. It goes Commander, Captain, then Commodore. Roshinate, he's dead now, but Roshinate, being a Commander, would have been the lowest ranked member of the Marines that has a devil fruit power, with the Nagi no Mi, the Calm fruit. Although, his situation was a little bit unusual as well, because he was officially a Marine, but he was working undercover for Doflamingo. So who knows, maybe he ended up getting the devil fruit while he was a member of Doflamingo's crew, or Doflamingo presented, well no, Doflamingo could, because he didn't know about it, yeah, okay, so maybe either he found it on his own, or he found it while he was a Marine. Okay, that's how he probably ended up getting that. But yeah, I messed up that. Sorry about that. Yeah, Commander would have been the lowest rank. But still, pretty high rank to have a devil fruit, you know, so nobody else below him. No lieutenants, no ensigns or anybody, or any of the infantry have devil fruits. Okay. But yeah, Roshinate had the Calm fruit. I've also made a video about him. It's pretty much the hard counter to Apu's musical-based devil fruit, because Apu breaks out his saxophone or whatever, and you can just Calm bubble, and then you're pretty much, you can't fight back against that right there. But as I said, I already did a video about him. So moving on to the Rear Admiral class, we got Hina and X-Drake. X-Drake being a member of Sword. So Hina has the power of the Cage fruit. Very useful ability. Allows her to create cages, and she can do this in a bunch of ways. She can either literally create, like, cage bars out of, like, the sleeves of her jacket, like, I think she calls it her, like, cage kimono. She makes it, and then she could just slap her arms together, and the cage, like, traps anybody in between her arms, like, kind of like a clothesline, just boom. She can also, like, literally let people just pass through her body, like she's a ghost, like she's ethereal or whatever. You can just pass right through her arm or her body, and when you come out the other end, you're going to be, like, you know, giant, like, iron bar, like a cage wrapped around you, and you're gonna fall to the ground, and you can't move, alright? So she's Iron Cage Hina, alright? And Hina is, of course, awesome in many other respects. You know, Django in full body, no know those respects, absolutely. But yeah, she used to be a captain, same rank as Smoker, and then she got promoted to Rear Admiral, and while Smoker got promoted to Vice Admiral, so you got a little bit more status to live up to there, Hina. I also love the headcanon that Hina and Smoker are, like, dating. There's that one cover page where you see them just hanging out at a bar one night, and you could just throw it out there, like, you know, they're just friends from work, and on their days off, on leave, they just go to a place, they go bar hopping around, and Hina is very clearly toasty, whereas Smoker's just like, all right, can we just, you know, okay, we should probably get a taxi for you. It's like, I don't need a taxi, Smoker. Come to my place tonight. You know, it's like I don't know. I don't know. How would Smoker react to that? I'm not really sure how that would go down, right? Well, you can't trap smoke in an iron cage. Yeah, so that's symbolism there, right? I don't know how that works. I don't even know what I was getting through there. But, yeah, Hina has the power of the cage fruit. We really don't get a chance to see that very often. Once again, we saw it be utilized at the end of Alabasta, and then we got to see it again during Marineford, where she did the little kimono trick to try to trap Luffy, and I think it only ended up trapping some of her own men. She can disengage the cages whenever she wants, obviously. But, yeah, it's actually a really useful power, because if you don't know what she has, if you just assume that she's just a regular Marine who's like, I'm gonna cut you down, Hina. Literally, Hina, all she has to do is make sure she doesn't get cut, but if she just, like, ducks down and the person passes through her, I guess she can turn her whole body ethereal. That's like a bonus action of the fruit. I should freaking do a video on the cage fruit. Haven't done one yet. But just, you know, move her body out of the way, and then so their arms or their legs passes through hers, and it comes out with a giant iron cage wrapped around it, or an iron bar wrapped around your leg. Even if it doesn't incapacitate you, even if it doesn't, like, restrain your arms, if you have a giant iron band on your freaking leg, that's gonna weigh you down. It's like gonna offset your center of gravity, and then she could just attack you more. All right, I'm also assuming she can use the iron cages as weapons. Like, she can make an iron bar coming out of her hand or arm or something and just hit you really hard with that. I'm assuming she could. You know, why wouldn't she be able to do that? So yeah, that's Hina's power. X-Drake's power is he's a dinosaur. He's the Ancient Zone model Allosaur. Don't know if he had this power while he was a Rear Admiral, or if he got it after he defected and became a supernova, but really a member of Sword. I like to think he found the fruit somewhere after the Marines, somewhere along those lines. He got the dinosaur fruit. So that's X-Drake. And now moving on to the Vice Admirals, okay? Starting with the most important Vice Admiral there is. That's why I gave him a spot in the thumbnail. Probably the only other time I'm ever going to get to use Dalmatian as a thumbnail character. But boom, yeah! Vice Admiral Dalmatian! He's a dog! Turns into a Dalmatian. He's adorable, yes. I wonder if he likes his stomach getting rubbed like a lot of dogs do. I have a Duchess, and she likes her tummy rubs every morning. She does that. She comes in my room every morning after I wake up, and we eat breakfast together or whatever. I usually have a croissant or a piece of toast, and I'll give her some toast or whatever, and then she'll jump up on my bed, and she'll assume the tummy rub position. He's like, I'm not leaving until I get my tummy rub. I'm like, okay. So it might be a little bit more awkward with Dalmatian, yeah. But, yeah, that makes me think of a few things. Number one, I guess there's a devil fruit variant for every single dog breed in One Piece, because there's the dog fruit model Dashound that we saw that Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas had for Lasso, the cannon that ate the zone. And then later on with Dalmatian, we have the Dalmatian fruit. Let's see, Chaka had the dog fruit model Jackal, and that's not a breed of dog, you know, and also Jabra had the dog model Wolf, so also not a dog breed, but, you know, related. So, but if we have Dalmatians and we have Dashounds, I'm assuming there's the dog fruit model Beagle, dog fruit model Boxer, because my dog is a boxer. There she is, being adorable. Now, what gets awkward is when you start thinking of little tiny dogs, because, like, Dalmatians can get pretty big, right? Okay, so we've yet to see Dalmatian in his full dog form, but it would probably be a pretty sizable dog, right? But Dalmatians can get pretty big. Not as big as, like, a human, but pretty big. Well, I don't know. I've seen some pretty, you know, like tall Dalmatians, right? But what if you had, like, the dog fruit model Chihuahua? So you could turn your body... First off, that's hilarious, just picturing the the Chihuahua face on a human. That's terrifying in its own right. But then, when you turn into your full animal form, would you therefore be a human-sized Chihuahua? That would be hilarious / terrifying / awesome, right? A giant Chihuahua stomping through the battlefield, or a giant Shih Tzu or something. Giant poodle. That would be adorable. my one friends, they have a French bulldog, and the French bulldog, he's a puppy right now. I don't know if you can still see it. He jumped on my leg a couple. Oh, there it is. See, yeah. That French bulldog, yeah, Santiago. Yeah, he'll jump up on me and scratch me pretty bad. So they're just trying to train him right now. But he's really adorable. But I'm trying to picture like the dog fruit model French bulldog, and like a giant, like, 6-foot French bulldog coming at you. You know, like, that would be kind of terrifying. Oh, what if Mastiff? Mastiff is a really big dog. So, yeah, I guess there's just different zones, types for different dog breeds. So, which dog breed zone would you want to have in the One Piece world? There's the question there. But Dalmatian's pretty cool. He has everything that a dog has. So he's got some claws. He's got the teeth, the canine teeth, and he also probably has an enhanced sense of smell and hearing. He's got the little ear flappies, which I'm sure the ear flappies probably have actual names, but I just call them ear flappies. We had a beagle. He had ear flappies. Yeah, Lucky did. So, yeah, I like Dalmatian just because he's a doggo. Why can't you not like doggos? Okay. Smoker's a Vice Admiral, but we went about him. Onigumo. All right, so if you thought Dalmatian's fruit was absolutely adorable, check out Onigumo's. He can turn into a giant damn spider. Look at these spiders. Oh, they're so cute. They're so hairy. I just want to hug a little pet spider. Spiders are so misunderstood. They just want to be your friends, okay? So, next time you wake up in the middle of the night and you see a spider in your room, like this one right here, instead of being afraid or freaking out or grabbing the flamethrower or just torching your entire house, why not go over to that spider, get to know that spider, pick up the spider out of its web, and take it back to bed with you? I'm sure it would be so happy. And then, bonus, you get your own spider familiar that will listen to your every command. That would be pretty damn cool, right? If nothing else, just to prank your friends. You know, just like, hey, spider, go over there. Go, freak out my friend. Ha ha, okay, come back over here. Ha, hi, Mr. Spider Friend. You ever watch Eight-Legged Freaks or any of the old like spider movies like Arachnophobia? That's a good one. There was also an old 50s movie I think called Earth versus the Spider. Not a great movie. It's kind of a B movie thing, but it was pretty good. I remember watching it when I was a little kid and being kind of interested in it. I've always loved giant spiders, right? Not enough that I want to move to Australia, where the huntsman spider is a thing, but Onigumo has some sort of spider fruit. We don't know the name of it yet. Spiders are not insects, so the Mushi Mushi no Mi would not make sense. It wouldn't be the Mushi Mushi no Mi model tarantula or something. It would be like, I don't know, the arthropod fruit model tarantula. I don't know, but it does have hairy legs from what we see, so we can understand it. It's probably a tarantula or some other hairy spider, right? And he used this power during Marineford, where he did not turn into a giant spider, because there's just some things you don't do. It's like, all right, we're in the middle of a giant war right now. We gotta bust out everything that we have in order to fight and win. This is Sengoku giving this speech. We have to bust out everything, except you, Onigumo. I better not see you turning into a giant spider. That might terrify the enemy, but that will also terrify us, so just keep it to hybrid form. And Onigumo's like, right, sir, absolutely. He's also a chain smoker. So, yeah, he turned the back part of his body into a spider. So the spider legs came out, and then he could also use each individual spider leg to grab and hold a sword like a cutlass. And so he could just be a spider tornado going through the battlefield. Maybe he also prefers to keep its hybrid form because of the way he could use his arms and, like, articulate them with the swords. Because if he turned into a giant spider just straight up, which I'm sure he could do, that also, I mean, it's terrifying, but it also kind of limits his ability to use a sword if you're an actual spider. Imagine a spider, giant spider, you know, going around the battlefield, 6 of its legs using to walk, and then 2 of its front legs, like, swinging swords around. That'd be a little awkward, right? But still, I think, you know, Onigumo's full spider form, yeah, I want to see that before the story ends. Like, even if it's, like, the final battle with the Marines, and we cut to Onigumo, and he's way in the background, and we barely see him, and we just see a giant spider back there, yeah, it's like, yeah, I know who that is. That's Onigumo. Then we have Suru. Suru, who has the power of the Wash fruit, which allows her to turn the enemy not into clothing, not actually turn them into clothing, turn them into laundry. Specifically, wet laundry that just came out of the washer that needs to be put out to dry. Specifically that configuration. And I made a whole video about that. That is what I consider to be the strangest devil fruit in all of One Piece. The weirdest one. Maybe you think it's the jacket fruit or whatever. There's a lot of really weird ones out there. But for me personally, Suru's washing fruit is the weirdest. Because it doesn't just turn you into clothing. That'd be weird on its own, but it turns you into a specific form of clothing. Laundry specifically. You know? This would be like if, oh man. This would be like if I had a devil fruit that allowed you to not turn into a car, but it can only turn you into a 1969 Charger. Specifically that model of car, nothing else. You know, like that would be a little weird, wouldn't it? Okay, right. Anyway, so that's all the Vice Admirals, and then we get to the Admiral class, which I'm not going to go into detail with the Admirals because here's the Marine playlist up here once again. I've done 3 full videos all on Akainu's Magu Magu no Mi, the Magma Fruit, Kizaru's Pika Pika no Mi, the Glint Glit Fruit or the Light Fruit, Aokiji's Hia Hia no Mi, the Chili Chili Fruit, Fujitori's Zushi Zushi, the Stomp Stomp Fruit or the Gravity Fruit. Did a video on Sengoku and his, well, I never really made a video about the Buddha Fruit specifically, but I made the Sengoku video, and then we don't know about Green Bull's fruit yet, but I made a video theorizing about that. If you want to go check that out, that's all in the Marine playlist up there. Out of all of the Admiral fruits, I would probably say my favorite is Kizaru's Glint Glint fruit, the Pika Pika no Mi, just because you got lasers, you could travel at the speed of light, you got a light sword, light projectiles, light mirror, probably a light shield, light armor he could probably make. You could just walk into a battlefield and just blind your opponents and then just walk away, and it's like, alright, I did my participation in this battle, everybody's blinded. So, you know, everybody put on your special eclipse glasses, okay, boom! Giant flash bomb, and then you're pretty much set. Actually, that would have been a really smart thing to do during the war. Have all of the Marines have special, like, you know, eclipse viewing glasses that are special and they can block out the light. Have every single Marine wear those, like, strap them to their head like goggles. And then at the beginning of the war, when all of Whitebeard's troops have mobilized, Kizaru just zip into the air and just boom! Just flash bomb. And the thing is, he could keep it going for a while. It doesn't have to be just a little bit. He could just like, boom! Retreat. Boom! Retreat. Because he can move wicked fast. Just keep doing that over and over again. All the Marines keep their freaking glasses and their goggles strapped to their heads. Everybody else is like, ah, damn it! You know? They'd be swinging like, you know, that actually would be really, really devastating. So all the stuff you could do with the Pika Pika, probably my favorite. I also have a soft spot for Fujitori's Zushi Zushi, because it literally gives him the power to manipulate gravity to summon giant meteors whenever. I mean, that's a boss move right there. And then you got Sengoku's Mythical Zone, the Hito Hito no Mi, the human fruit model Daibutsu, that allows him to turn into a literal Buddha that has achieved enlightenment. And with this enlightenment, he can forgive your sins by shockwaving you to hell! So, pretty self-explanatory. Giant golden human, boost to defense, like he's literally made of gold, so he's harder to hit. Also, he has Buddha shockwaves. He's giant, he could step on you, you know, he could do all that stuff. Giant Buddha headbutt of forgiveness! Bam! 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 So, that's that. But yeah, so those are all the Marines that have the power of Devil Fruits. A lot less than I figured, but for all those reasons I explained, I think it makes sense why a lot of them would probably decide not to go with that power, right? And save all the Logias for the Admirals. And Smoker, apparently, right? Alright, well anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'm gonna salute our commanding officer, Barry. I better not make another Marine video after this, guys. I don't know how much more powerful Barry can become. Fleet Admiral? Commander-in-Chief? God Admiral? I don't know, is that a position? I don't know. Okay, Barry. Sign out! Huh!